Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And boy, a nice day today. We did have clear air yesterday and a little bit murkier air out there today. We were unhealthy air quality this morning, unhealthy for sensitive groups this afternoon. Some places worse than others, and that's what we'll continue to see as we make our way through the week. But boy, weather-wise, mostly sunny skies out there above the smoke. High temperatures, at least for us, we're going to be in the mid 70s, maybe upper 70s, lows in the 50s, and we can expect light winds and dry conditions. And I'll have your complete north central Washington weather forecast a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A 28-year-old Montana man who was trapped under a boulder the size of a refrigerator was rescued Monday near Lake Viviane, south of Leavenworth. Hazardous trees from the Bolt Creek fire continue to plague state crews, but today it meant delays on US 2 and not full closures of the cross-state highway. And Wenatchee City Hall will be closed Friday for moving day, which means a change in the location for some city services. But first, our top story tonight, a 23-year-old Ephrata man was killed in a head-on collision Monday night on Highway 28 about 2 miles east of Quincy. The Washington State Patrol said the unidentified man was driving a Subaru Impreza westbound on the highway just after 9 p.m. when he veered into eastbound lane and struck a westbound Honda Accord being driven by a 17-year-old male from Ephrata. The 23-year-old was transported to Quincy Valley Medical Center where he died. The juvenile was taken to Sacred Heart Hospital in Spokane with undisclosed injuries. A 28-year-old Montana man who was trapped under a boulder the size of a refrigerator was rescued Monday near Lake Viviane, south of Leavenworth. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office said Ben Delahunty was hiking with a friend in the Enchantments when his legs and wrist got trapped beneath the boulder. After the friend called for help about 9:30 a.m., a helicopter from Snohomish County dropped a paramedic into the site by hoist. Rescuers from Cascade Ambulance, Chelan County Mountain Rescue, Wenatchee Valley Fire Department, and Snohomish County Helicopter Rescue Team were then all dropped into that site. They found Delahunty in an area that required them to use ropes in order to safely reach him. At about 2:50 p.m., they were able to free him from the boulder, and then at 4:45, the weather had cleared enough to hoist him out by helicopter, which transported him to Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. The sheriff's office said Delahunty had significant injuries to his leg, but is expected to recover. The rescuers then needed to hike out, finally making it to the trailhead at about 11 p.m. Hazardous trees from the Bolt Creek fire continue to plague state crews, but today it meant delays on US 2 and not full closures of this cross-state highway. At 7 a.m., the Washington State Department began removing more fire-damaged trees near the roadway, holding up traffic in both directions for about 20-minute intervals. The Stevens Pass route across the mountains has been shut down numerous times since the Bolt Creek fire was first reported September 10th, sometimes for weeks at a time. The fire has now burned 13,396 acres and is currently 36% contained. Wenatchee City Hall will be closed Friday for moving day, which means a change in the location for some city services. Beginning on Monday, October 17th, utility billing, payments, finance, accounting, economic development, and the mayor and city clerk offices will all move to the first floor of City Hall, located at 301 Yakima Street. Also, the City Public Service Center on McKittrick Street will be closed on Friday, October 28th, as they move services such as Parks and Recs and water, sewer, and utilities to the new City Hall. There will be a ribbon cutting and building dedication for the new City Hall at 4:30 rather. That's coming up on Thursday, November 17th. Well, when we come back, some Wenatchee school board members are pushing back against the districting plan adopted in June, which will put all of their seats up for election in 2023. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife will decide later this year whether to prohibit visitors bringing domestic sheep or goats into wildlife areas, including the Clockham. In its efforts to keep invasive species out of area lakes, the state has begun installing free boat cleaning stations. And beginning on Friday, Chelan County fire restrictions will be lowered to stage 1, but fire officials warn that doesn't mean fire danger has gone away. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
As nature does its magical change from the green of summer to the orange and red of fall, camping in your old tent isn't going to cut it anymore. It's time for you to get a great deal on a motorhome, travel trailer, or fifth wheel from Click It RV during our year-end clearance event. We need to make room for our 2023 models. Get 30% off, 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and receive a lifetime warranty. Come visit us today off I-90 in Moses Lake and see big savings at Click It RV.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Welcome back. In another news, some Wenatchee school board members are pushing back against the districting plan adopted in June, which will put all of their seats up for election in 2023. Catherine Thomas and Julie Norton both won their seats last November. The board voted unanimously in June to hold elections in 4 newly created sub-districts plus 1 at-large position. The change was made to avoid conflicts with Washington's Voting Rights Act. At Tuesday's board meeting, Thomas and Norton says they want attorneys to once again examine the need for new elections next year.
I'm interested in having their perspective on us remaining in our position for the 4-year terms that we were elected for. I know that we've heard from Danielle, and she's given us her perspective on that, but I am interested in pursuing our other law firm that's on retainer to look at that for us.
It will cost us money to do that. And what benefit or what is it that's telling you that we're going to get some different answer by doing that?
I think it's important to consider that we were elected for 4-year terms by the people. The people elected us to a 4-year position, and that's something that I think that it's not clear that we could not, with a vote of the board, keep our 4-year terms.
I think we're still at a point where if there's an ability to do it, we could amend this resolution before we have to finally approve it. I don't think there's clarity on whether there was additional opinions provided. I don't know that it changes anything. I think some of us feel like maybe we owe it to constituents to at least vet that a little bit further because of this uncertainty.
The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife will decide later this year whether to prohibit visitors bringing domestic sheep or goats into wildlife areas, including the Clockham. The proposed rule is intended to reduce transmission of bacteria that can cause deadly pneumonia in bighorn sheep. Land managers say some hikers travel into wildlife areas using pack goats, which could spread the illness. That activity would still be allowed in all but 12 managed areas. Fish and Wildlife is accepting public comment on its website and will hold a December 1st virtual hearing. A final decision of the Fish and Wildlife Board of Commissioners is expected on December 12th. In its efforts to keep invasive species out of area lakes, the state has begun installing free boat cleaning stations, with the most recent opening Tuesday at Lake Roosevelt. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife said the stations are called CD3 units because they're used to clean, drain, dry, and dispose. To use them, boaters pull up to the units and use a vacuum and brush to remove weeds and water from both outside and inside the boat. Funding for the pilot project came from the U.S. Department of Interior. A unit also has been installed at Steamboat Rock State Park on Banks Lake in Grant County. Well, beginning on Friday, Chelan County fire restrictions will be lowered to stage 1, but fire officials warn that doesn't mean fire danger has gone away. Chelan County Commissioners signed the resolution this week, which will now allow recreational and residential campfires. Stage 1 restrictions continue, though, and they ban outdoor burning of yard debris. While Stage 1 restrictions begin on Friday, the fire hazard levels in both the valley and mountain zones of Chelan County will remain at high, meaning conditions are still highly prone to wildfire. Also, the Okanagan County Fire Advisory Committee have extended the burn restrictions for that county until October 28th, prohibiting the burning of yard waste but allowing recreational fires. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
I'm the mayor of Wenatchee and a Republican.
And I'm the mayor of Issaquah, and I'm a Democrat.
We don't agree on everything.
But we do agree on this. Kim Schreier is doing a great job.
Because Kim works with both parties.
To get funding for our roads.
And better equipment for police.
She had 5 bills signed into law by Biden.
8 by Trump.
It all adds up to this. Kim Schreier is effective and independent.
And that works for all of us.
Hello, my name is Alan Blackman, and I am running for Chelan County District Court Judge. It has been my honor to serve you as a prosecutor and public servant. I have worked hard to keep our communities safe. I have the knowledge and courage, but also the compassion and integrity to address mental health and substance abuse in our local courts. Please vote for the most experienced. Vote for balance, compassion, and integrity. Vote Blackman for Judge.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Last year, the retail giant Walmart asked all of its food suppliers to sign the ethical charter on responsible labor practices to guide their hiring of international labor. Stamilt Growers here in Wenatchee is among those signatories, and it relies heavily on H-2A workers to tend and harvest fruit crops. It's partnered with recruitment from Certo Global to achieve the goals of that charter. In tonight's features story, CEO Wes Matheson and others addressed the issue last week at Walmart's Nature and People Summit.
Many farm workers are susceptible to corrupt practices, being charged illegal recruitment fees, and their opportunity to obtain a job in the U.S. And a lot of the time, those type of recruitment fees lead to forced labor. So it's extremely important that employers understand the need that their workers have been recruited in an ethical and just way. At the same time, this responsible recruitment not only highlights the need for workers to understand their rights, but allows them to understand their value in the supply chain.
So at Stemelt, we want every team member to be their own best advocate, to feel respected, have dignity, and to trust us. In 2018, the produce industry aligned around the ethical charter, really a code of conduct for labor practices in a global supply chain. And, a lot of companies have already endorsed the charter, folks like Stemelt, and there's 13 principles, and one of them is around ethical sourcing. So we work with Cierto to recruit our temporary workers through the H-2A guest worker program, mostly from Mexico. It's kind of hard to know where to start to ensure your workforce is being recruited responsibly. It takes a sense of curiosity. And, there's a lot of companies there to assist in the public domain to guide suppliers around this. One of them is called Stronger Together. And also Walmart, as was just discussed, launched a new program around how to help suppliers, on this topic. Other things you can use is use a third party to audit your process, use a recruiter who focuses on responsible sourcing. All this stuff has opened our eyes and strengthened our practice. And, you got to take that element of curiosity into it and go, am I giving power to someone who's going to potentially exploit the powerless? And so I'd ask you as vendors, as leaders, to ask your vendors, go talk to your team with the spirit of humility and say, how do we know with certainty, with confidence, that what's going on in our farm or company is being done the correct way?
Weather time, and let's take a look now at your north central Washington weather forecast. Nice day out there again today. Just a little bit of that haze, but we did get unofficially to 76 degrees this afternoon. 63 is our normal high, so once again, I know we sound like a broken record, well over normal for this time of year. We were just 1 degree shy of a record, which was 77, set back in 1979. 46 this morning, so a little cooler than we've seen. 43 is normal. And our record cold, 29, set back in 2009. 7:15 sunrise, and the sun will set tonight at 6:18. Quickly checking tomorrow's high temperatures, a lot like today. In fact, it's almost going to be identical to today. 77s from Moses Lake into Wenatchee and all the way into Omak. Cool spot on our map tomorrow will be Lake Wenatchee with a high of 70. Tonight, we can expect areas of smoke to continue as long as we continue to see this northwesterly flow coming right down at us, bringing all the smoke from the fire activity our way. We're going to see that smoke, and that means more widespread smoke for Thursday. High temperatures, as we just talked about, mainly mid to upper 70s for tomorrow. For Friday, high pressure continues to park itself off the Washington coast, and that again means a northwest flow and some more smoke and haze for Friday. Highs in the mid 70s. Kicking off our weekend, it looks like that may be the best weather we see as far as at least air quality goes. Sunny and unseasonably mild. High temperatures in the upper 70s as we get you into the weekend. Hard to believe, isn't it? Mid-October and we're in the upper 70s, and that trend's going to continue into our Sunday with sunny skies and highs in the mid 70s. We are seeing a more zonal flow shaping up though as we get into Monday, and that's going to kind of squeeze our high pressure a little bit Monday, bring a few clouds along the Cascades. Still will be mild though on Monday with high temperatures again into the mid 70s. By Tuesday, just some remnants of those clouds that move through. We'll call it partly cloudy for Tuesday. Still pretty decent out there too into the extended forecast with a high temperature again into the mid 70s. Tonight's forecast, 50 degrees for us tonight, so a little bit chilly. 77, hazy for Thursday, more haze on Friday, mid to upper 70s as we get into the upcoming weekend. And then for Monday and Tuesday, just a few more clouds, but still unseasonably mild with highs in the mid 70s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Fellow Chelan County residents, this is Sean Smith. As a local business owner, I understand the increasing challenges of survival. And as a father of 4, I understand the need for a safe environment for our families. As a lifetime resident, I am seeing changes that are not productive or safe. As your next county commissioner, I will work diligently to make sure things get better. County commissioners face a lot more than just community development, and you must be prepared to work on all levels of county government. I am ready, willing, and capable, and would ask for your vote.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. Scott Service has spent the better part of the last 24 hours backing up his decision to use Robbie Ray in the 9th inning yesterday. Of course, it didn't work out well. It was, Ray surrendered the walk-off home run to Yordan Alvarez. It gave Houston an 8-7 win in Game 1 of the American League Division Series against Seattle. Paul Sewald, the Mariners' closer all season long, got the first 2 outs of the ninth before Service brought Ray out of the bullpen. Scott says the decision was made long before the 9th inning yesterday.
A lot of it is tied into who's available, what the matchups are, and our matchup numbers they're developed by us, just like every team has an analytical group that puts all the information together and it spits out a number to me and my coaching staff and the whole strategic group that puts together game plans and how we're going to use guys. So, you rely on it. You stay true to the process and understanding the pieces you have available, pieces of the players you have available that day to go ahead and hopefully, finish off the game. It didn't happen yesterday. Didn't work out. But I don't know if anybody remembers, but just a couple days ago we were in Toronto. And George Kirby got the last 3 outs in a position he'd never been in his life. Why did we make that decision at that time? Because our process led us to that decision. And it worked great. But it was a spot that George had never been in before, but we thought at that time it gave us the best decision to win the game. Just like yesterday. We thought at that time it was the best decision to allow us to win the game. So, again, a lot goes into it. I said when the playoffs started, the beauty of the playoffs is there's so many eyes and there's so much at stake. And the thing we forget oftentimes is the best players in the world are playing at this time. It's a really good team we're playing. We played a fantastic game yesterday. We really did. We were all over, probably the guy who's going to win the Cy Young this year. Awesome at bats. We played very good defense. We controlled the strike zone. We were in charge of the game. The 8th and the 9th inning did not go our way. Okay? And you have to give the other team some credit. Andres Munoz is out there, probably him and Eddie Diaz, probably the most dominant late inning relievers in baseball over the last few months. Alex Bregman hits a 2-run homer off him. And then they got deeper in that inning that allowed some other things to happen in the 9th inning. So you have to give credit to these guys on the other side. They get paid to play too, and they're just as competitive as anybody else, and they've been there before. So, again, it didn't go in our favor. Our process was really good. Stand by it. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to get off it. Why would you? That's what got us to this point.
Seattle will send Luis Castillo to the mound for Game 2 tomorrow against the Astros' Framber Valdez. First pitch at 12:37. Game 3 on Saturday will start at T-Mobile Park at 1:07 in the afternoon. If necessary, Game 4 would start Sunday in Seattle at 12:07. Now, if that happens, the Seahawks and Cardinals game across the street at Lumen Field would be pushed back to a later game time. Other divisional games last night, Harrison Bader and Anthony Rizzo homered for the Yankees in a 4-1 win over Cleveland. Nick Castellanos was 3 for 3 with 3 RBI to lead Philadelphia to a 7-6 win in Atlanta. Trey Turner homered and had 2 hits to lead the Dodgers over San Diego 5-3. Game 2 of the NLDS between the Phillies and Atlanta was pushed back earlier today because of rain. Also tonight, Los Angeles and San Diego playing Game 2 of that series on FS1. High school volleyball last night. We brought you Moses Lake and Eastmont here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Up front at Scott. She'll get I thought she might get the set attempt, but it was to Woolsborne. Now to McDonald. What a point for this last point. Will it be the last point of this first game? Eastmont trying to make it happen right here. They go for a hole in the pond, and they get it. Eastmont 25, Moses Lake 23 here in game one. Service by Michael Staines. And that will do it. Unforced error for Eastmont will end it here with Moses Lake on top 25-19. Service across. Kellum up front, it comes to Trittleman. Kellum with the kill. Eastmont with a scramble. They get it across. Back line to Torres. Up front to Trittleman. Here comes to Kellum again. She'll shove it to the back line and a sprawl for Sammy Beck. And that'll be a point for Moses Lake. And the Mavericks will win this one 25-20. Staines on the serve. Back line it goes. Out. Points. Game. Match. Moses Lake. That was quite the game tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We came out rocky, but then we really pulled it together at the end.
So talk about what your coach tells you guys as you're going from point to point and from game to game after you drop that first one. What was the focus for you guys?
She said to be intentional with everything we do, have all the energy that we have, and just to play our game.
Tell me what you told the girls after you lost that first one, 25-23.
That we needed to be that team that others wanted to be. We needed to rise to the occasion and play our game. So when we do that, it's beautiful. But then when we get in our funk or our valley, like we did several times, 7 or 8 points that were unearned, we have to dig ourselves out. So the girls, they dug. That was well earned. Very proud of them.
Moses Lake moved into third place alone in the Big Nine with the win over Eastmont last night. Also last night, Wenatchee remained a game back of West Valley with a sweep of Sunnyside 25-13, 16, and 17. Best match of the night last night, Sela surprised Ephrata, handing the Tigers their second loss in CWAC play 3 games to 2. Final scores 24-26. 26-24, 22-25, and 25-23. How about that? Vikings moved into second place behind Ellensburg in the conference with the win. For the smaller schools last night, Chelan swept Cashmere 3-zip. Omak over Cascade. Entiat topped Wilson Creek in 3. Manson took 3 from Tonasket. Liberty Bell edged Oroville 3-2. Lake Roosevelt beat Bridgeport 3-0. Waterville Mansfield defeated Moses Lake Christian 3-1. Okanagan edged Brewster. Another Donnybrook 3-2 the final. Les Schwab Prep Girls Soccer scoreboard. Eastmont beat Moses Lake on the road 3-1. Wenatchee shut out Sunnyside 7-0. Cascade clobbered Omak 9-0. Quincy beat Brewster 2-1. Cashmere shut out Chelan 3-0. Okanagan bounced Liberty Bell 10-zip. Tonasket took care of Manson 12-0. Bridgeport beat Lake Roosevelt 6-0. And Pateras peppered Oroville by a final of 9-1. How about some swimming? Moses Lake swept West Valley and Sunnyside, downing the Rams 138-41 and Grizzlies 150-13. Wenatchee swam past Davis and Ike, downing the Pirates 122-37 and the Cadets 117-58. Well, Wenatchee will try to make it 2 wins in a row when the Panthers celebrate homecoming on Friday night. The big question, will it be home? Wenatchee's planning to welcome Davis to Leavenworth Field of the Apple Bowl at 7 o'clock. If that occurs, we'll have it here live on the NCWLIFE channel. Now, there are contingency plans being made in case the smoke returns and our air quality doesn't allow for outdoor activity. Wenatchee Athletic Director Jim Beeson says the game could be moved to Quincy if need be. If that doesn't happen, and it's clear enough to play, Grant and I will have your play-by-play beginning with the pregame at 6:30 on Friday night. Now, Eastmont's already made the decision to move its game to Skyline. Athletic Director Russ Waterman says the AQI is forecast to downgrade, so the game will be played Saturday at 6 p.m. in Issaquah. So kind of a wait and see for Wenatchee and Davis. That's a look at sports news. Grant, back to you.
Thanks a bunch, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we're here with Dr. Becky Berg of the Eastmont School District, the superintendent of the Eastmont School District. We're here to talk about the Eastmont School Bond, and we're here at Lee Elementary, Dr. Berg, for a good reason.
Lee needs some more love. It's built in 1957. It's had some remodeling and some additions since then, but we definitely need to modernize it so our kids aren't in portables, so we don't have outdoor hallways, and so we have the best security possible.
You need to be an informed voter for you folks in the Eastmont School District come November 8th. Becky's going to give you the information you need so you make an intelligent and smart vote. Becky will join me in the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, guys, and that will do it for our newscast tonight. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us, and have a great night. News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.